Three, two, one. Hello there, it's Big Boy. I'm sorry, I was talking in my English accent. Ever since I became an author, I've been trying out these different accents to throw on everyone. With radio, I've always been that personality and that funny guy, and I always enjoyed that side of the entertainment. But with bodyguarding, it's kind of the same thing. You got to know how to diffuse a situation, but it's two different spectrums. But at the same point, I can protect them the same way I can protect myself. You know, it sounds crazy, but you'll hear me on the radio, and it's one way, but you know, and I don't invite this, but come and try to put your hands on me, and I'll whoop your ass. You know what I'm saying? So, with a smile on my face, you know. But I mean, but I'm defensive, not offensive. The way I worked with the Pharcyde is a friend of ours by the name of Paul Stewart. And Paul Stewart we call DJP. Paul was like that go-to guy. I would rent equipment from him. He was, you know, he got House of Pain, Their Deal, Coolio, Pharcyde he worked with. So as those groups were bubbling in Los Angeles, I already was cool with Paul Stewart. And the Pharcyde, they came out to New York and they had a little situation out in New York. And when they came back, they were like, we need security. So I've always been that level-headed guy, and you know, I was 400 plus pounds then, always good on my feet, always good on my hands. I was already into martial arts then, and they just asked me to kind of go out on the road with them. So the Pharcyde was easy to bodyguard because they weren't the, you know, shoot 'em up, kill 'em group. So we had fun out on the road, and that was the first stamps that I got on my passport. Now see, the Pharcyde, we're all from Los Angeles. So one of the craziest things I had to deal with was, you know, you traveled a lot. And we were in this real small town in Ohio. And I'm talking about small where the sheriff was one car and he drove around with his wife. When you called room service from your hotel, it was the Denny's that shared the parking lot. Very small town. So we walked in after a show and we're sitting at the bar, you know, ordering certain things, and I see one of my guys over to the side and look like he's having a problem. So he walks back over to us and he was like, man, he's looking back, and he keeps looking back, and I'm like, Rick, what's going on? So he told us, he was like, hey man, you know, these cats over here on this, you know, N-word stuff. And so, you know, we guys from LA, you don't get people that just come up and say that to your face, you know what I'm saying? We probably being called all kind of ninjas behind our back, but nobody's gonna really come up to you and say that in your face. But where we were at, that's just the way that they played. So, you know, words were going back and forth, and of course they weren't backing down. We were out there on tour, and I didn't want to get the group into any animosity. So we got them back to the hotel. We went and told our road manager what was going on, because our intentions were to go back and really put hands on these dudes. So when we got the green light, I put on my steel toes, my guy put on his, and we went back there and we gave them a real LA ass whooping. They had to know that we weren't those ninjas from around their town. You know? Every billboard that I've done pretty much was my concept. Like, no one could come to me and say, hey, get on this billboard and be out there in your boxers. And like when I did the Morning Obsession billboard, which is just me and my silk boxers, they didn't even know I was coming out in my boxers. That was just me. And I walked out and I was like, let's take the picture. And they just start clicking away, and that ended up being the first billboard. But I celebrated that obesity and being big, and I loved it. You know what I'm saying? So no one could come to me and say, hey, we want you to do this. You know what I'm saying? Man, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? That was my idea that I was 100% comfortable with. And I just wanted to show people how you could be 500 pounds and still be sexy. Now, granted, some people probably did throw up, and I apologize. But overall, in my mind, that was amazing, man. We're still talking about it over 10 years later. So it worked. Hello.